When I first heard that Nintendo was going to replace their eShop with a streaming service, I was hyped. At this point, we stream TV and music, so it was inevitable that we were going to stream games, and I was so excited to think of the possibility of games that we'll be able to play. But instead, we got this. Okay, maybe I was being a bit hyperbolic, because we did get some classics like Mario, Zelda, and Metroid, but there's still a lot of room for improvement. But it's not like Nintendo did everything wrong. So let's start with the good. First thing's the price. When you compare the Nintendo Switch Online to the other gaming streaming services, it is the cheapest among the big three. Considering you get access to playing games online, classic NES games, and classic SNES games, isn't really a bad deal. Heck, the games are worth it alone. Even though the Switch Online doesn't have a lot of features, is a reason why it's $3.99. With a price like that, you can't really mess it up. Unless of course you increase the pricing. Foreshadowing. The other great thing about the Switch Online is the ability to suspend and make save files on the fly. If you feel like the game cheated you, you can simply go back to 10 seconds and be given a second chance, like nothing happened. And it makes games that are just too hard, specifically classic NES games, that much more playable. But fortunately, no player is going to abuse this ability. Well, most of us aren't going to abuse it. But the way I see it is that when games give players more control, it's usually a good thing. I'm a bit of a purist myself, and I like to play the game as the developer intended, but I think the fact that the options available that you can rewind at any time in the game is a great thing. So for the Switch Online, we had our classics like our Mario and our Zeldas, but they also brought games that are not as well as known like Demon Crest. And I love that because when most people buy games, they usually buy the classics, which I'm also guilty of. But there are so many other great games out there that people don't know about. And so the Switch Online is their opportunity to try games that they otherwise wouldn't buy because they're unsure about. Which I think that's great that people get introduced to franchises they otherwise wouldn't go out of their way to buy. But you know, everything can be good, so let's get to the bad. So let's start with the pricing. So remember when I said that the Nintendo Switch Online's pricing was worth it because it was at a cheap pricing? Well, that went all out the window when Nintendo started to increase their pricing once the N64 and the Genesis came onto the Switch. Don't get me wrong, I was really excited when the N64 and the Genesis finally came on the Switch, but the fact that they increased their pricing, and the pricing is similar to what PlayStation Plus and Xbox has, and the fact is that Xbox and PlayStation offer more, doesn't make it such a great deal anymore. Second is the shitty online. When Nintendo first announced that you're going to have to pay for the online, I didn't mind originally just because traditionally Nintendo's online has sucked, so the fact that it was going to be a paid service naturally meant that it was going to be a better quality. But one thing we know about Nintendo, for better or for worse, they don't break tradition, because it just absolutely sucked. Personally for me, I don't mind paying for online, but if I'm going to pay, I expect a certain level of quality, and if that's not the case, then either make it cheap or free. Because for every Punch-Out or Donkey Kong Country, we get games like NES Tennis, or whatever the fuck this is. Okay, I played it and it's not that bad. But what I don't like is that we're not getting the games that fans really want. And on top of that, they're not releasing new games every month consistently. What I think Nintendo should do is get a bunch of games, see what games fans want the most, have them vote, and then based on order of popularity on the votes, have those games come out consistently every month. That's all, Nintendo. That's all we want. But somehow you managed to fuck that up. At the end of the day, I'm glad we have some ways of playing classic games. But if Nintendo isn't really willing to invest time and quality to improve Nintendo Switch Online, I think we're better off just getting the eShop again and choosing what game we actually want to play. But anyways, that's my opinion. I'd love to know yours. So should Nintendo keep the Nintendo Switch Online, or should we just get the eShop back? But anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video.